Rivers Unscripted is back this time with a new episode, and we're talking NFL draft that just happened a couple days ago. I'm excited. My sister's excited, and you guys know why I'm really excited because the Cowboys pretty much confirmed with these draft picks that they got it that they actually going to be winning the Super Bowl this year, and they actually obtained some future Hall of Famers and some Rookie of the Years and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. We'll say that for the bottom part of the episode, but we're talking about NFL draft, and we're going to be talking about the winners and losers, other drafts, Shedeur Sanders, and a few other players. But let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. And you watch more college football than I do. I actually don't
Mm.
watch college football at all, but I feel like the whole storyline behind Shedeur Sanders and this draft started before the draft even happened. So,
Mm.
like, you'll notice on different networks, I will say a specific example would be like Tom Pelissero on the NFL Network, how he came out with this whole negative comment about what a coach, an assistant coach, said about Shedeur. And I was thinking, like, all of these draft picks, why they gotta pick Deion's son and start talking negative about him? So at that point, his draft capital started dropping at that moment. And so elephant in the room. There are several things. Number one, some people don't think that Shedeur is that good to begin with. Not to be like a top 10 pick, right? But
Mm.
I did expect him to go in the first round. I did. I expected it. Um, and then there's the whole component of, oh, people don't want Deion to disrupt their locker room if his son go there. Blah 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 blah. There's that. And then it's just the simple fact of people need to realize not a lot of teams needed a quarterback. Now
Right.
those teams that did need a quarterback and they passed on them, I'm not even gonna lie, it was like I was shocked. I think we was watching it and talking at the same time as it was going on. I was like, okay, here it go. And then they would pick somebody else. So I
Right.
was shocked. What's your take on the whole Shedeur Sanders things? Because I think that he got way too much press for the entire draft and it overshadowed a lot of other players.
Right. And I've been watching Shador for a long time. I mean, even when he was back at Jackson State and he came over to Colorado and stuff like that. I watched him a few games this particular past season, and he had some great games and then he had some bad games. I mean, for the most part, Shador and the Colorado Buffaloes, I mean, they did kind of overachieve considering where the program was when he first got there, because Colorado was actually a one program win team before they got there. So obviously, him and Travis Hunter, they turned the culture around and they turned the team around, and they did make them look a little bit better. But however, when they did face some of the tougher competition in the college football landscape on the schedule, I mean, they kind of suffered a little bit when they faced the powerhouse teams. They got blown out, and then when they faced like the lower teams and the lesser teams, they won big. But for the most part, he was behind the A ball a lot in those games, so he was able to accumulate stats and pat stat and all that kind of craziness, and that kind of really built up to the overhyped of Shador because he was able to pass for 4,000 yards. But that's easy to do when you're always down. Like when you have to pass, like that's easy to do to
True.
have 5 touchdowns when you got to come back each and every game. But I think a lot of different things played a part into Shador falling back. And I was reading some reports today and listening to radio. They were saying they had a bad coaching interviews. He brought an entourage with him when he met with teams, and you just can't
So
do that.
let me interact for a minute and with the whole bad interview thing, right?
Mm.
Do you think that his confidence um attributed to him having bad interviews? Because at the end of the day, I don't feel like he should be knocked for being a confident person. Now,
Right.
confidence versus just straight up arrogance, that's different. But like think about it. Think of some of the other players that, probably had bad interviews, but it was never spoken about. Or other players in the past who've had like bad off-field stuff happen. Like look at Johnny Manziel. This Joker was just bad. He was drinking and doing all
Mm.
types of stuff, and nobody talked about that before the draft. They kept it behind closed doors. But this guy comes in, he's a little flashy, he's Deion Sanders' son, he's very confident, and it comes off as arrogance. Like where's the line drawn? And like, I think somebody texted me and they was like, oh, Shador was blackballed. Is it a racist thing? I said I don't think it's a racist thing, but I do think he got blackballed. I think that everybody kept saying, "Oh, he's trying, they're trying to humble him." I don't think they were trying to humble him. I think that he fell so far that teams just didn't need a quarterback at a certain point.
Right, but you brought up some of the like Johnny Manziel's teams, no matter the sport, basketball, football, baseball. If you're good enough, they will overlook that. And with Shedeur, they didn't overlook that because maybe he just wasn't really that good. Like I don't see why people can't really like focus and look at that aspect of it. Like obviously we know if he was a Johnny Manziel, if he had the talent, if he had the different accolades and stuff like that, and if NFL teams really thought that Shedeur Sanders was that good, Deion Sanders wouldn't matter. His jury wouldn't matter. The cars that he drive, none of that would have mattered. Teams would have selected him in the first round if they thought he was good enough. But obviously, you cannot not be good and then have all these other distractions going on and expect to get drafted early. Like, did I expect for him to fall all the way down to the fifth round? No. Should he probably have went in the second round? Maybe borderline first? Yes. I mean, I think the first team that I thought maybe was going to select him maybe was Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh definitely needed a
Right.
quarterback at 21, so I thought he was going to go there. But then maybe the second round came around and the Browns had the first pick, and the Browns need a quarterback as well. So I thought maybe he's going to go in the second round. But to drop all the way down in the fifth round, and to my point, like there was also better quarterbacks than Shedeur still available out there, such as Quinn Ewers, Will Howard. There was at least another 2 to 3 good quarterbacks that are way better than Shedeur that still was off the board at that point. So it ain't like it just was a Shedeur thing. It's like, do teams need quarterbacks at this point? And you can't really blame teams for improving other areas of their team without really selecting a quarterback. The further the draft go, if there's no run on quarterbacks, then why select a quarterback if you don't have to? And I think a
Right.
lot of teams took
No.
that approach.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So like, the whole draft pretty much was centered around Shador, it felt like. Because
Right,
once he didn't get drafted the first day, it was like all hell broke loose.
right.
But all right. So you agree it's enough talk about Shador? I think we
Of course, we
spent
didn't
enough
even talk
time.
about the first round pick, which was Cam Ward
Right. So
out of
right,
Miami.
right. So Cam Ward out of Miami, right? I feel like coming into the draft, I feel like the combine, I feel like even draft day, because he it doesn't seem like he's a flashy player.
Mm,
I think I might have saw like on YouTube or social media somewhere where him and Shador were at the combine and like there was like a conversation that was had. But Cam Ward is generally, I think he, anything you ask him, what do you do? What do you think about when you're not on the field? I think about football. What do you do?
right,
Well, I'm a football player. Like everything is football to him. He's not giving any room for anybody to have any critiques in terms of the off the field stuff with him. He doesn't seem very flashy. He seems very humble, seems very mature, in my opinion. And he was the first round, Titans took him first round. I think I saw one of your friends say if the Titans wouldn't have picked Cam Ward, he just would have just went off. His whole live stream just would have went off.
right,
So like I think that was a great pick for them. They do need a quarterback. But like he didn't even get the shine in the interviews and the things that he should have gotten as the first overall pick because as soon as they announced that he was the first overall pick, here come the Browns trade and the Jaguars and then it was just like no one talked about him after that.
right.
Like I think that was kind of rude, but like no one's talking about Cam Ward, so I guess he's just going to have to come in and do his thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't watch college football, so I don't know if Cam Ward is good or not.
Listen, Cam Ward played for my Miami Hurricanes. He was the quarterback
I
of
should have
my
known.
Miami Hurricanes. He's a bad man. He is a bad man. Like, trust me, Cam Ward is going to do his thing. I don't pick secondary teams in the NFL, but because of Cam Ward, I might have a secondary team, and it might be the Titans. So I might maybe, and I probably had to edit this portion out. We ain't gonna put this out there. I might have to get a Tennessee Titan jersey with Cam Ward because that's just how much I like Cam Ward and how much I expect for him to do great
Oh, that's
things.
saying a lot. That's
Like
saying a lot coming
that
from you.
is because that's my man. Like I watched him. He came in and played for my Hurricanes this season. Got us back to being relevant again, and we had a great season. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs or whatever with him, but he's good. He's good. He is really good. The Tennessee Titans definitely got a great quarterback on their team, and I just hope that the Tennessee Titans do right by him and put some pieces around him to make him great because in all honesty, we all know the Tennessee Titans are really is where quarterbacks die. So I don't know.
No, I don't. I think you're wrong in that. I think
What,
the
because they
places
have
where
Steve
all play.
McNair? Like,
No, no, no. So I think that all players, right,
mm,
in the NFL period, quote me on this. If you want to kill your career, you go play for the Cleveland Browns.
maybe. But I like Cam
That
Ward.
might
He's
be
he's
why the
good.
Browns didn't. Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway, so there's the Cam Ward.
he's
So
good.
then,
He's a real deal.
he's good. He's the real deal. I like him off the field. He seems like he's very mild-tempered dude.
Yeah,
He's about his business.
yeah.
And, congratulations to Cam Ward
And one
and
more thing
your
about
Miami
him
Hurricanes.
though, he actually probably maybe hurt Shedeur stock a lot because when they was together and they was practicing together, he was killing Shedeur on the skills and just talking in general. Like he was trash talking Shedeur, and he was just making him
Hmm.
look so bad as a another like as competition. Shedeur
From one
went,
rookie to another.
yeah, from rookie to rookie, like he was just killing Shedeur the whole time. Shedeur come up short on passes, Cam Door would just throw a dart like bam. What's up, Shedeur? He's like, that's competition wise, he was killing Shedeur. So
Okay.
they weren't on the
Okay.
same level at all. But
So you
Cam Ward is
agree that
good.
he is hands down, like
Yes,
should have always been in first trap. He should have always been in the talks. That should have been the name that they were saying all along.
correct. I mean, overall, the quarterback class is kind of weak, but he is definitely well above everybody else. Shedeur, maybe, I don't know. He's in the top five. I mean, there's still three other players that was better than Shedeur, but that's enough Shedeur talk. We're talking about Cam. Cam Ward.
Right. Cam Ward
I
to the
see him
Tennessee Titans.
losing in the Super Bowl to the Dallas Cowboys.
Anyway,
Hmm.
and the other blockbuster moment, in my opinion, of the draft was, of course, we mentioned it earlier. The Browns traded their, number one pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you think? Before I give my opinion on the trade, you tell me, tell the world what you was saying to me about
I
Jacksonville.
was actually kind of shocked that the Jaguars made a pick like that. That they moved up and who they selected. I mean, they got Travis Hunter, which I think may be an okay deal or okay signing or whatever. But I just hope that the Jacksonville Jaguars do not play Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball. I think they need to get him in there, have him focus on one position, either DB or wide receiver, and just go from there. Like you cannot destroy this guy's career going both sides of the ball. Like no matter what he says, no matter what type of convincing you try to do, he has to focus on defense. I think he's a better defensive player than he is wide receiver. So I think that's what they need to focus on. The Jaguars really got a little bit. They got some holes on their team. I mean, they haven't really been good defensively in quite some time since they had Jalen Ramsey. So I'm not quite sure what they really expect from Travis Hunter, but I imagine they expect him to do great things. And I just think he's really not going to be that type of guy that he was at Colorado. It kind of goes back to the Shedeur thing. Like you playing against lesser talent, so you're gonna look good. And then when you play some of the bigger talent, you get cooked a little bit because there was some games where Travis Hunter played in college and they played against some of the big time programs, and he was looking very very small at the time.
In
So
comparison.
yeah, so I think he has room to grow. I hope he don't really get the big head. The Jacksonville Jaguars is a great place to start out, but it's hard to be a rookie and have all that expectation on you, especially being the number two pick in the NFL draft. The NFL is not college football. The Jaguars are not. You got practice squad players that are way better than Colorado players or just college players in general. So they're gonna be coming hard at him, and I just hope he really takes that in consideration and try not to play both sides and pick one side of the ball. There's plenty of other people that play college ball on both sides, and then once they got to the NFL, they just focus on one area. Then now they one of the best people at that position. I think Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos is kind of like that,
Yeah.
and he's a beast at DB. Like, you don't
Hmm.
see him out there coming out there trying to run jet sweeps. And I think playing Travis Hunter on the offensive side of the ball is really just going to be all about gimmicks. And that's when you're at the most vulnerable state of getting injured because as soon as you come in the game, you know you're going to run a jet sweep. You know they're going to run a slant or something like that. Like it's some sort of gimmick play or a freaking wildcat or something like that. Focus on one area, perfect that, and then you can do something else. Like don't try to do too much in Jacksonville because you know when the teams are rebuilding, they get these young guys and they try to do too much with them, and then they end up ruining their careers in the first 2 years of the season. So
Okay.
trash.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just say I don't know what kind of player he's gonna be. I do agree that he should play on one side of the ball. But here's what I think Jacksonville was thinking. You hear all the time like drafting players, it's either boom or bust. Either you gonna get your player or you ain't gonna get your player.
Right.
So they traded up to get him. They traded away some draft picks, but guess what? You draft in those later rounds, you might pick somebody who may not help your team and you just wasted it. So they moved up in the draft to
Mm,
get, Travis Hunter. And in their eyes, you moved up to the number two and you get two players in one. Give away them draft picks. They don't care
right.
about them. So for me, it was very smart for them. And on the flip side of it, I also think it was very smart for the Browns to get additional draft picks because think about what they did in the past. Like all the deals that they were making and all the signings and giving away draft picks, they needed to get back some of that capital. So I think
Right.
that the trade was smart on both sides. Um, and for Jacksonville, they knew what they wanted. So I think that was like it was a splash. It was smart. They got a player who can play on both sides of the ball. Now it's gonna be interesting to see because I think that I read somewhere that he said that if a team drafts him and doesn't
Mm,
let him play on both sides of the ball, he not gonna play. Bro, when
right.
them when they start hitting them pockets, I don't think he gonna sing that same tune.
Nah, nah. Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. And I think
So
like what you said with the Browns, if you really look at it, the Browns got like so many picks in this draft, and they got first round picks next year as well. The Browns are really going to be
facts.
in a serious rebuild, and they're going to be able to rebuild quickly with all these draft picks that they got because they're going to have some decisions to be making this upcoming season of what they're going to do at quarterback and just how they just going to improve their team because they obviously just re-signed Myles Garrett, but I think the Browns are probably the biggest winners in this draft, considering what they got for
They
that
had
particular
so
pick.
yeah, they got so much for
Yeah,
that particular draft pick.
I agree.
And then here was when it first started talking all the chatter around the black ball, right? So we know, in your opinion, or I'm gonna say in my opinion, here are the teams that I think needed a quarterback.
Mhm.
New York Football Giants, right? Needed a quarterback. Browns need a quarterback, right? Steelers need a quarterback. Titans need a quarterback. They got their quarterback. Um, and a lot of people were talking about Raiders need a quarterback behind Geno, right? Any
Right.
other teams that I could really think
I would
of?
say if your name is not Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, your team needs a quarterback because there's a lot of
You could
starters out
wipe
there that
Dak
are pretty
out.
bad.
No, so let me tell you why you should wipe Dak out of that category. Y'all need a good backup for Dak that's gonna do to Dak what he did to Tony Romo.
Of course, of course, of course.
All
I
right,
agree.
so you gotta knock him right on out of that. What you just said. Let's just cancel that. We're gonna cut it.
I mean,
Okay?
after he wins the Super Bowl this year, I can definitely
No,
see
no,
us
no, no,
doing that.
no, 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 no. So like, let's say. So the reason why I bring that up is
Hmm.
because after Jacksonville, who you have on the board is the Giants, and
Right.
they've been talking about they're gonna draft a quarterback and they need a quarterback. And what do? They pick like a defensive person. Like that was when it first started. So then it's like, okay, okay. And then you got the Patriots. They don't need a quarterback. I think that they did good. They got Will Campbell. He
Hmm.
was very emotional at the draft. Good for them. I think that was a good pickup for them or whatever. And then you trickle down. Here come the Browns' first pick, defensive tackle. That's when people really started getting wild style with like all the commentary and stuff like that. So like, what do you think about those picks? I mean, I thought they was it. I feel like
Um.
the teams did what they needed to do.
Yeah. Considering the spot that the Giants was in, considering the spot that the Browns is in, the Giants really got a good pick at number two. It was kind of hard to really take Shedeur Sanders at a number two or any of those other quarterbacks when you got a outstanding defensive player sitting there at number two, and for the Browns sitting there at number three. I mean, if Travis Hunter was going to be at number three, they was going to probably take him, but the Jaguars got up there and took him over the Browns because I'm pretty sure Travis Hunter was going to go to the Browns. But the Giants was in a tough spot to pick a quarterback at number two and the overpass. And because when you think about the Giants, They offense ain't really been crap the last couple of years, but their defense has been
Mhm.
kind of solid. So why not just continue to solidify your defense with a great defensive player? And then you got to think about their coach is also on the hot seat. So imagine
Right.
that you being on the hot seat and you got to start this rookie quarterback that probably ain't gonna play well. You're definitely out of there. If you're going to be going with Shedeur at number two and you have to start him, and then you give up
Well,
a
yeah, number
defensive
3.
player, yeah,
Yeah, number 3.
yeah, you give up
Yeah.
a defensive player. So I think those teams was in tough positions. It was a tough call for them, but I think they made the right call. They went with the best available players, and if you're going with best available players, those two guys that they selected at that moment was the best available players. They had no
Mm,
choice.
okay. That's good. So then here's the other splashy player. I was very happy with where he landed. Ashton Jeanty. Like
Mm,
in my opinion, if you play fantasy football, especially in Dynasty, he's a fantasy football player's dream in Dynasty that's not super flex. Um, and I think that was a great landing spot for him. They got like Pete Carroll there, then you got
right.
Geno. I don't remember who the running backs were. Matter of fact, I could tell you in a second who the running backs were before he went there. But like he's a clear starter, you know. So
Right.
for the Raiders, like I think, and I'm gonna skip around a little bit. The Raiders, in my opinion, they did good in the draft in terms of like improving like their core because you could think
Mm-hmm.
they drafted Brock Bowers last year and this kid took off. They still have Jacoby Myers, who's actually pretty good. I think he's a very much underrated player. He was good when he was with the Patriots. He's good,
Mm,
with Las Vegas. They just needed him somebody to throw him the ball, right? Aiden O'Connell, he not it. So they got Geno, which is a little bit better than Aiden. He not great. But
mm-hmm.
the other part of that I think that they did that was smart is they came back and got Jack Beck. What was his name? Besh.
Yeah.
I was like, when I first saw it, and then like, they start showing like the footage and the tape about like the kid and then talking about his personality. I think that, the Raiders, they did pretty good in the draft. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like they pick at running back because I want him to fall to the Cowboys at number
He
12.
wasn't
But
falling.
they did good. Like I said, these teams are doing really really good with their picks. They're not really falling to peer pressure from the fans or media. Like they're really improving their team. This is one draft where I think I actually watched pretty much a lot of it, and I can say that teams did really really good in improving. And the Raiders definitely was one of them. I mean, with Pete Carroll, they're going to run the ball, so they got to have a good running back because when he played in Seattle, he had beast mode, and then he also had Kenneth Walker. So a good running back, is the staple of Pete Carroll
Yeah.
offense. And then he got
So
Geno Smith.
they got Geno Smith, and in the offseason, they signed Raheem Mostert.
Yeah,
So,
they're
you
going to run the
know,
ball.
they're gonna run the ball,
Yes,
period.
so I
So,
like what the Raiders did.
Raiders, yeah, they did good. Then you got, the Jets came in, they picked up a, offensive tackle, which they needed, you know.
Right.
And then, and this is something I think I was talking to Dana about it. So Carolina Panthers selected Ted McMillan, right? So I think at the end of last season, Bryce Young was pretty much coming into himself. I think that was a good pick for them because they got to get him some targets. He's
Right.
pretty big, right? I can understand. Like I think somebody thought that they were gonna pick another wide receiver, maybe that Golden kid, but he's too
Mm,
small for what they need there. Like you can't have a small wide receiver. You already got a little ass quarterback because
right.
Bryce ain't big.
Right.
Um,
I'm
so
still
then there's
confused
that.
about the Panthers though because I don't think they really sold on Bryce Young. So for them to
You don't
go,
think so?
no, because they went back and forth with him the entire season. Like, oh, we're gonna
I
start you,
think
no,
they
we're gonna
did
bench
that
you,
to
then we're gonna
teach him a
start you.
lesson.
Bryce Young ain't
I
it.
think they did it to like make him fight for it because I feel like he was losing so much that he stopped caring, but he had to fight to be a starter again. No?
Don't be
I
surprised
thought
if
that's why
he's
he did
benched again. I don't know who the number two is
it.
of the Carolina Panthers, but he's gonna be benched again. So I'm not. Again, when he got that job back, they was facing teams that really had nothing to play for. They was facing lesser competition, so he was able to ball out. I mean, don't be surprised if he's benched again mid-season. I wouldn't be surprised by that. So for them to select a wide receiver that they have nobody to throw the ball to,
Well, Andy Dalton is behind him, so Red Rocket.
I'm not surprised.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So then here's another chance for a quarterback to be selected. Now, I don't know much about Jackson Dart. but everybody keeps saying he's not great because he makes a lot of mistakes, right?
Hmm.
So I was expecting, because of the whole Derek Carr situation, the shoulder surgery, that the Saints were going to pick a quarterback. They did not. They picked an offensive tackle, and that was another moment during the draft. So it's just like I'm thinking about like these quarterback rooms for these teams, and like what are they gonna do? Are there any free agents out there? Like I'm pretty sure somebody could try to trade the Falcons for Kirk Cousins, but like even him, like at this point, like Captain Kirk can, he can air it out and stuff, but he's still there and he's a backup at this point, a
Yeah.
well-paid backup.
Yeah.
So I don't
I'm
know what the
not
Saints
too.
was doing. I don't know.
I don't know what the
I'm
Saints are doing.
confused.
Definitely kind of surprising considering who their head coach is. And Kellen Moore, he's actually a quarterback, former quarterback as well. So I thought maybe he would go young quarterback and maybe try to mold that quarterback for the future of the Saints or whatever, because he's going to be there for a while. So why not go out and try to get your future quarterback, or at least get somebody that you invested in, because Derek Carr isn't a Kellen Moore type person. He's only going to be in the league maybe like another 1 or 2 years or something like that. Then you got to start over at quarterback. But that says a lot about the quarterback class. It was weak. Like outside of Cam Ward,
Okay.
it was weak. Teams did not take a chance on picking a young quarterback in the first round. Like I think it
Okay.
should have been some possibilities of some people, but it's Kellen Moore at the end of the day. So
Yeah. So like, then, they keep going and keep going, more defensive people, but I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to talk about why you were or were not happy about the Tyler Booker pick. Go ahead. I'm letting you have it.
you.
I'm not gonna make no faces. I'm not gonna say anything. I am gonna say this because I told you this when it happened.
uh,
When y'all drafted Tyler Booker, what did I say? I said, "Oh man, I was hoping that he would make it down to the Texans." Did I not say that?
you did say
I
that. You
said that.
did, but
So
you said that
you,
for selfish reasons. But
yeah, we need him.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Tyler Booker pick was the right call for the Dallas Cowboys, because we needed somebody to replace Zach Martin. We needed somebody to come in and fill in that hole that Zach left us. Obviously, I wanted to go a different route. If I was a GM, I probably would have went Matthew Golden or something like that, or wide receiver, to give CeeDee Lamb another option, or Dak Prescott another option to throw the ball to, because CeeDee Lamb, once he gets double covered or once you just get unmotivated, it's kind of hard to really move the ball down the field with the receivers that we got. And I think Jalen Tolbert and some of those other guys that we got right now, I think their time is up. Like, you ain't been proven that you're a number two wide receiver after 2-3 years, and you got to go, and we got to go elsewhere. So, but overall, putting my fandom to a side, the Tyler Booker pick was the correct pick. It was a great pickup, a great addition. He's from Alabama. He's pretty good. The only thing that I didn't like was the little pep talk that he gave with Michael Parsons and stuff like that, and everything that he was saying is that how people just get scared over the course of the game when they got to face him and yada yada yada. And in my head, I'm thinking, man, you just gonna have a whole bunch of holding calls, bro. Like, you sound like you're gonna have a bunch of penalties because you're just doing way too much. Like, but
But wasn't he
overall,
good in terms of that in college
I mean,
though?
he went to Alabama. I think he probably was the best offensive guard in the draft. So, and the Cowboys. The Cowboys are always, when they are at their best, their offensive line is really beastie. So, I guess they're trying to rebuild the offensive line and stuff like that, which is good. Like the last couple of years, we went offensive line the first couple of picks these last 3 years, and we are kind of rebuilding it a little bit, because when we had Travis Frederick, we had Tyron Smith, we had Zach Martin, the offensive line was great. So that's when we also had some great backs during that time, DeMarco Murray and stuff like that. So we got to rebuild that. But I was just hoping that they went a little bit more to the wide receiver to get Dak Prescott another option at wide receiver, because I think that's where we need to go. But I'm not too mad about the first pick.
You're not upset.
I'm
You're
not
not
upset.
upset.
No, I was kind of like,
You
what? But at the end, 5 minutes later, I was like, great pick, great pick, great pick, great pick. Way to go,
okay?
Jerry. It's our year.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. Um, I hear you. I hear you. But you wasn't great picking when he picked. I'm just saying. Hello world. He was not saying great pick. He was upset. He was upset when it
I was
happened.
upset about 3 minutes. After the 3 minutes is up, I was like, great pick. We were going to Super Bowl.
Okay. Um, Another interesting pick, first round. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They picked that wide receiver. I don't know much about him, but I just
Mm,
think it's gonna be what's his name? Emeka. I don't even know how to say his last name. But then you got Chris Godwin,
right,
Mike Evans, and now you got this guy. And then last year, what's his name? McMillan or Mc something. That was there. He was like breaking out last year. He was doing really
right.
good. So like Baker got a lot of targets, like a lot of places to throw the ball to now. So hopefully that help him. I'm not sure what's up with Chris Godwin now. Hopefully he's injuring. You know, his injury is doing well and stuff like that, and he'll be ready when the season start. But like, I
Yeah,
mean, I think it was a great pick for them to give Baker another target because Baker, he's good. He'll scramble. Like, yeah, he need people to protect him, but he's real good with like maneuvering himself around, and he'll take a couple hits. Baker act like he invincible.
right.
I mean, he get popped and pop back up like it's nothing.
See,
Like, give me more.
the Buccaneers are lucky. They are a very lucky team because they're actually in a position to where I like truly believe that the Buccaneers are probably only like one or two pieces away from winning the Super Bowl. They're great on defense already. Offense, they
Yeah,
need like one or two more pieces, and they might have addressed that during the draft by picking this wide receiver because offensively they got run. They good at running back. They good at
yeah.
receiver. They good at quarterback. They got a nice little
Their pick
offensive
last year
line.
was great. When they picked
Yeah,
Bucky Irvin, that
yeah,
shit was clutch for them.
yeah.
Cause Bucky came in and just took right over with Rashad. Like, yeah, they were sharing, but like the long
Mm-hmm.
runs was really Bucky Irvin last year.
Yeah, and they already great on defense. They got Villa Vea in the middle, then they got linebacker,
Hmm.
and they got some corners. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are really, really good. I'm mad that they kind of rebuilt before the Cowboys did, but they are really, really good. They just kind of come up short in the playoffs a little bit. Baker Mayfield make a mistake here and there, and that kind of be the difference maker in the playoffs. So they're good. They lucky. So they
You think
lucky
it's
that
Baker Mayfield or you think it's the coaches?
I just think he probably just made a bad play call at the wrong moment. It's just one of those situations. Because I think that's how they lost in the playoffs last year. So a bad play, a bad terrible
Okay.
play happened. So, but they're one of the most fortunate teams because, like I said, they can focus on one side of the ball and stack up chips there, and to go along with what they already have. Mike
Hmm.
Evans, Godwin, Irving, Bucky, defense. You got Villa. You got freaking some more people. Like they're set. They're going to win the
Okay.
division, so they're going to be in the playoffs. So they're
You
a
heard
team
it
to
here
reckon with.
first. They're gonna be
Unfortunately,
in the playoffs.
unfortunately, and I see them losing to the Dallas Cowboys in the division round, and the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. You heard it here
I
first.
think that you're trolling me at this point because you want your fans to see my reaction every time you mention your team.
I'm just
It's
telling
just
you
like I
what's
have to take a
happening.
big breath. It's not. You're delusional. I need
They
you to do better.
listen. They're gonna have to see the Cowboys, and it ain't gonna be
All right.
pretty.
Well, what is it? May 14th. The season schedule is gonna be released. We're gonna carve through it, maybe see if we can make a couple games. But yeah, no. I don't know about that.
There's already been
Um
some matchups already announced, right? To start off, I
I'm
think.
not sure. Maybe some of the games that are overseas. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um So here's where it got interesting. 2020, the 21st overall pick. And what do the Steelers do? They pick defense.
That
And
was
at
a
that point, I
surprising
think
pick.
that's when you and I knew that Shedeur was not being picked in the first round. Period.
Right.
Am I wrong? At that pick, we knew.
I think Pittsburgh needed a quarterback. I don't know why they didn't go quarterback. I mean, I don't understand why all the pressure was on Pittsburgh to pick Shador to begin with. I don't know if it's just a Mike
Because of
Tomlin
some
connection.
visit with Mike Tom. Yeah, some visit. That's what the
Is that
media was
maybe
saying.
how the racial thing came into play because of that? Like, I
Maybe. Like I said, I don't think it was a racial thing. I just think that, media and people in general and they just took something and ran with it. I don't think that everything needs to be a racial thing. Like it
right,
shouldn't be.
right,
So then there was that. And then here's one of the ones I think you and I were both talking about it. Some of these teams pick players and then you feel bad for the players a little bit. So for
yes,
example, Omarion Hampton going
mm,
to the Chargers with Najee Harris, they're like, yeah, it's probably gonna start off with like 70-30 Najee and then maybe 60-40 and this Hampton kid,
mm-hmm,
apparently he's really good and he may take over towards the end, but it's just like, golly, like this player is such a good player. Why couldn't he land on a team where he could be like the clear starter or a clear person where you don't have to fight so much and you can just go out there and shine? But sometimes you can't shine because you get picked on a team where you got to fight.
Right. But you also got to think about today's NFL. Today's NFL is not just a standalone starting running back. It's running back by committee. So they have two
Hmm.
good running backs at all times and they kind of share carries. That's just the way the NFL is these days. And if you look at the Chargers, who's the head coach, Jim Harbaugh or John, I don't know, John or Jim, which it's one of the Harbaugh
One of the
brothers.
Harbaugh brothers.
Yeah, so
Knock on wood.
they like the running back by committee. So you can't be too surprised with the way the NFL is going these days because I don't think can we name besides what not even Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry don't do all the snaps. Is there a running back out there today that does all the snaps like a pure starter? I don't think so, right? They
No.
all timeshare a
At
lot.
some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, at some
yeah.
point. Like Henry is their running back, but then you got Lamar Jackson in there. He a quarterback, but he a running back too. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
Like,
say that too loud.
why?
People gonna hate on that. Lamar Jackson is
Well,
not a
he
running
is.
back.
He's not a running back, but like he run a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He run a lot,
Yeah, but I
right?
think the overall is that there in today's NFL there is no Emmitt Smith that's playing every down. There's no Barry Sanders that's playing every down. There's no whoever was a Houston Texans grade. I don't know.
Barry Sanders, like
Marshawn
it's none of
Lynch,
that.
like
Yeah, none of
none
that
of
no
they
more.
never got subbed out of the games unless it was like
Right.
out of reach. But in today's NFL, you got a running back and then you got a running back slash pass catcher. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what the NFL is. So I mean Hamilton's probably going to be the power back, and then he'll go out on third downs when it's like a passing situation or something like that. But back in the
Right.
day, those bats did it all. They ran the ball
Right.
and
Right.
passed. So, but it's just unfortunate that Hamilton will like go to a timeshare situation. But he could just turn into one of those running backs. Where like, nah, I ain't subbing out. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's likely.
Maybe.
But all right, so with
Maybe.
Hamilton, is there a team that you think he should have
Hampton.
went to? Hamilton, is there a team that you think he should have went to? A real good fit.
Yeah.
Like who needed a
I
running
think
back starter?
your team. Ah, anyway,
He wasn't. That's crazy. That is
he was
crazy.
available. They didn't pick him. Y'all picked before this. Y'all did not pick a running back. You could have picked him.
You're right. You're
Jerry did
right.
not pick a running back.
You're right.
This is why I bring it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am right.
You're right. I can't even argue that. We could have had him.
All right.
We could have had him.
So you could have had him. And then I think something notable. Oh, here's the thing that people were saying about the Steelers. They're saying that the Steelers are pretty much still waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
Which is unfortunate. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to
Yeah.
cost a lot of people their jobs. So I'm all for it. Sign Aaron
Aaron Rodgers
Rodgers.
is a coach killer. If Mike Tomlin is ready to go, bring in Aaron Rodgers.
But that also goes back to like if Mike Tomlin or the Steelers would have selected Shedeur at number 21, that is more additional pressure on Mike Tomlin, who is possibly on the hot seat to perform, and then to go with a rookie quarterback who may underperform. It may just cause like an unnecessary distraction because maybe Mike Tomlin feels that he's on his last leg, and Mason Randolph was still winning football games last year, I believe. Like
He
it might have
sucks.
been ugly. It might have been
I
ugly,
don't
but they
care how
got
you
dubs.
break it down. Mace, he is not it.
He may
This
not
is
be
not
it,
it.
but
He's not it.
maybe Mike
Who
is
did the
gonna go down
Steelers?
like that.
Yeah, he gonna go down flames or flaming. Who did the Steelers pick? They did eventually pick
A quarterback, yeah.
a quarterback. They picked
We should have got Scoob to talk about the Steelers.
he when you come here, if we go to his house, we'll
Mm.
discuss it. Um they eventually picked wait, they did not draft a quarterback at all.
The Steelers didn't pick a quarterback.
No, I don't
Hey,
think so.
but
Wow.
like you said, they may have
So
Aaron Rodgers in the bag. I don't know.
yeah, maybe, maybe. Um, One of the things that you also didn't like during the draft when it was happening is, and this is, and the reason why it made me think of Aaron Rodgers is, the Green Bay Packers, they haven't selected a wide receiver in years, and I mean in years, and that's all Aaron Rodgers. Remember, that's all he wanted at one point in time was for them
Right.
to listen to him and give him a target. So now you know, Green Bay, they have all these receivers, but there's no, in my opinion, there's no clear number one. It's all wide receiver twos there. They go in and they select Matthew Golden, wide receiver. Like he's small. For me, I think he's another kind of like what's his name, Jaden Reed type of player. So
Right.
they like got another one at this point, and they were like super duper happy about it. I think they ended up getting like a couple receivers in the first couple rounds. So I
Right.
was kind of surprised at them for that. That's another player where you were like, oh man, I wish he was drafted somewhere else, like hey, your team. So like,
Yeah.
there you go. It's another player who pretty much suffers. And I want to say after that point in the draft, nobody was, really surprised. It wasn't that exciting until the Giants traded to go back into the first round, and that's when we thought that they was going to pick Shedeur, and they didn't. They came in and they picked Jackson Dart. And I want to say that a lot of Giants fans, they was big mad again.
Wow. I mean, I don't know too much about Jackson Dart. I mean, I know he went to where did he go to Ole Miss? So I mean, I know that was a
Yeah,
good college program. I know they did win some good games, but I don't know too much about him. But at that point, I definitely did believe that the Giants was going to pick Shador at that time, and I thought it was a good call by the Giants moving back into the first round to pick a quarterback.
right.
I just thought they maybe picked the wrong quarterback, but hey, the Giants ain't beat the Cowboys in 3 4 years, so it ain't gonna happen. I don't really
They
care
ain't
who
gonna
they
beat
pick.
nobody in a couple years at this point.
They not. They not. All
Right.
right.
So I want to say one other thing, and I think for you it hurts a lot. The Eagles just keep getting lucky with these defensive players that they get to pick. They pick Jahai Campbell, excellent pick, great personality, great player, and here they go shoring up their team again. It's just like it falls in their lap, and then teams like the Cowboys got to deal with it. Like, look at what they've been doing for these past couple of drafts. Like their GM, he doing his thing. Give him credit. Give him credit. Don't be petty. Give him some credit. Look at your face.
I am going to take my petty moment and not give a damn about anything the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. I hope they all play all everybody that they pick or bust. Okay,
Right.
and if they, I don't want to wish bad injuries on anybody, but if they got injured during the preseason, I would totally understand. Not that I want that, but I would totally understand.
Okay. All right. So that pretty much, in my opinion, pretty much rounded out the first round. My team, of course, I was upset that they did it, but now I kind of understand they traded out of the first round. They got some picks later. And their first pick, they picked Jaden Higgins. You were upset about that too. I was kind of upset about it until I started thinking about it. Like CJ Stroud, he don't really have a lot of people to throw to. Like he got Nico Collins, and then
Right.
Tank Dell is hurt again. So they needed a wide receiver, so they did what they had to do, and then they came back in and picked the they did good on free agency too with picking people to protect CJ, and then they came back and protect somebody, pick somebody that could protect them some more. So all I could do is cross my fingers, wait for the schedule to come out, and just take it day by day. Meanwhile, I'm not gonna be like you and have to tout my players. I'm just gonna let their work speak for them. Either they're gonna be really good or they're gonna suck. I
Yep.
mean, it is what it is. Now your team, if they suck, I need you to take it like like a little thing on the chin. All right?
I can see the Houston Texans losing to the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl this year. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, and that's if y'all make it that far. I mean, I'm just saying. But real quick, I do agree with you with some of these players and where they went. I don't like some where some of these players went, such as the dude that went to Green Bay and also the dude that went to the Texans as well. I think those are two bona fide starters. I don't think they're wide receiver twos or threes. I think they should have been in better situations on better teams where they are able to stand out and be the true number ones that they are. So, but we'll see. Everything's based off potential in the draft, so we'll see how that really goes. But it doesn't really matter what these teams pick or who they draft because we know how it's going to end. Like Dallas Cowboys rookie of the year, Tyler Booker, offensive lineman of the year. You know what I'm saying?
All
We know
right.
that.
Before we end, right? Tell me this. Tell me this. Um, offensive rookie of the year. Your prediction.
That's typically what high profile offensive player, right? Wide receiver. I don't think it's gonna be.
I don't think it's
Cam
gonna be a wide receiver.
Cam Ward.
I'd also, you think it's Cam Ward?
Cam Ward.
I think it's gonna be Ashton Jeanty.
Depending on the Raiders' success, but I think Cam
Yeah.
Ward is going to really have some good stats this upcoming year. Kind of like how Jaden Daniels did with the freaking Commanders last year.
Okay.
So Cam Ward.
And then rookie of the year for defense. Defensive rookie of the year.
Um, Abdullah Carter from the Giants, maybe, maybe even Will Campbell. I would say him for the Patriots, but the Patriots are going to suck. So I don't know. That's a good one. I don't really know. Maybe I don't know.
I'm gonna give y'all some credit. I'm gonna do something that I normally wouldn't do. Tyler Booker.
He plays offense.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay. Then if it's not him, then I think it's gonna be Jahad Campbell.
I hope not. Oh my god. I hope not. We don't need that. We don't need that. I mean, is he going to be a day one starter for the Eagles?
He might be. They gonna work him in there, even if he's not.
Right. I would say real quick, I do like Tyler Warren that went to the Colts as a tight end. I do like
Yeah.
that pick.
hmm
Hopefully Anthony whatever the
Richardson.
Richardson would throw him the ball a little
Yeah,
bit, but
but
I
you
can
know
see
what
that.
though? What a lot of people aren't thinking about in terms of tight ends, you gotta pick a tight end that's on a team where the quarterback is not like gonna be just tossing it down the field. So
Right.
Mason Taylor with the Jets, him paired with um Justin Fields, because like think about what Justin Fields with Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
good match for them. Yeah.
I agree. So
All right.
hopefully Janty. All right, but that's the
Okay.
draft recap from Siblings Unscripted. We see how that goes, see how the players go, and what else?
That's it. Follow, like, share.
And turn on your bell icon for notifications when we drop another episode. We catch you guys later.